Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm an investment advisor and I worked with a very rich clients. And today I will tell you how to adapt book Draw to Win to a real life, how it can help. And I think that there are some interesting moments that can be really involved in your work life that would really help you to communicate with clients, or when you want to show your idea to your colleagues, to your team, or when you make a speech while trying to sell yourself and your startup. First of all, you should understand that this method is not about drawing itself. It is how you can take idea, picture from your mind to paper. Of course, you can use electronic gadgets, for example, iPad or laptop. There are a lot of examples when people speak and make a speech, very fast speech to an investor or a very interesting and successful person who has 1 minute, for example, and you met this person everywhere, for example, in the restaurant or in the event, and so you don't really have a lot of time, and you should do everything that is possible to attract attention of your potential client or investor. So there is like a phrase that the best ideas, the best plans are written in the paper, in the restaurant. And it is truth, because successful people can understand, deny important things, really good ideas, methods or links from trash, from garbage. And it is a very common thing for successful people to see opportunities. And it doesn't really matter if you have now really great graphics, tablets and computer, or you know that you're right and you will win world. You will be a very successful, a very important person, and you will play a great role in the society. There are 7 key points how to attract attention. First of all, while drawing some words, you should highlight them. And maybe you can use different colors or not, but the main idea that your client, person near you, should see how the process is going on. The next step is while drawing, you should speak. And only combination of things how a person understand information can help you. So you should mix different ways how you put information into another person. So you should use their eyes, their ears, and this would give better results. If you don't speak while drawing, it is boring. It is yes, of course, it is much easier for you, because you should be concentrated on 2 or 3 things at the same moment. So you should speak, you should draw, you should show some emotions, intonation. It is quite difficult, but again, it is more about practice. And actually, people like to hear what you're drawing. You don't really need a lot of details, you don't really need to be like an artist. No, it is only the way to give like a structure, and so you use like a circle and you name it like the group of people, or like the round of our audience. You have, for example, two different circles and you name them differently, and so you don't really need to draw what it really means. So you don't really need to build to draw like buildings, a very beautiful architecture, to show that this is complex of houses. So you can draw only 3 or 4 houses while talking about, I don't know, 1,000 houses. Then you should explain a very complicated pictures. And the first step when you draw and speak, the person will understand how you come from the first step to the third or to the fourth step. And when a person saw the process, he would not have a lot of problems with understanding what it really means. But if we talk about presentation that you have already prepared, for example, you have some graphics or tables, you would, or notes, you should explain your client, your friend, audience, what it really means. And that is why this would not be a problem in this way. But if you don't highlight something, if you don't explain what it means, the person can be distracted. And if you have a really complicated idea, you should write, like, show steps of this idea. So you should not put everything in one place, and that is why you should try to, that your picture should be as clear as possible. This is the main idea. And you should know your structure of presentation, so your pictures should be in a right structure, and they should be logically connected with each other. And now I would like to tell you how our mind works. You should use 5 questions to see the whole picture, and when you answer all of these questions, there would be no misunderstanding, and the whole idea would be rightly explained, and audience would not have more questions. So the first question is who, the second is what, the third is when, then where, why, and sometimes it is the additional question, how much. So you can see picture, and here is a dog. For example, we see this picture in our mind, and then there are 3 points how we can explain it to us. So our mind try to understand this picture using 3 questions. Firstly, what? It is the first object and the second. The first, for example, is dog, the second is sun. Then how much, and then where. So we are people and we should know the situation where we are now, so we should know geographical things, and that is why it comes from nature to understand the like a space. And if you see every question, for every question you can use different pictures. Then, after these first questions, our mind thinks about when the dog is running, for example, and how. For example, when we see not only one picture, but 3 or 2 pictures or 3 pictures, like a series, in comics, maybe you can see how dog is running, and now we see the point A and then point B, and our mind needs to understand how we came from the first picture to the third one. That is why from this information we can make a conclusion that we can explain any idea using only 6 kinds of pictures that would explain and answer to 6 questions. So now I would like to explain it to you in more details. So the answer to the first question, what or who, would be portrait. So you can draw a person, animal, or anything that you are talking about. For example, factory or house. The answer to the question how much would be graphics. You can take data from different research and then prepare it for your presentation. Then we have question where. For this you should draw like a map, and then there is a question when. It is more about chronology of events. What was the first, then the second, and then the third step. For example, how you would come to the achievement, to the success, how you would win the game from zero, and what steps you need to do before like reward. Then there is question how, and it is more about graphics too. And then the last question is for what. This you can use like a equation, and of course it depends on the situation. Everything is individual, and that is why you should remember that in your situation, for explaining for answering one question, you can use not only one type of picture, but some and others. So you should take on your mind. There are 2 ways how you can use methods from this book. Firstly, you can make a construction, the draft, before meeting, before event, so not the whole information is in your text, in your picture, but the big percentage of data, graphics, text is already mentioned in papers, in documents, and in your presentation. And there is another way. You can draw everything from zero. So you have white list, white paper, and you draw everything from nothing. The second way needs more focus, more preparation, and your thoughts should be clear, and you should prepare for it, so you should remember everything in real clear and good structure. And it is more about small speeches, including meetings, for example, with your friends or people that you meet at some events, business events, and when you are not so prepared. But to use the second way of drawing to win, you should repeat these steps of your plan, of your presentation very often, and sometimes before your speech. Graphics are cold. It is only business. But actually, it doesn't really work like this. Any idea, any product is a solution, for example, of the problem is personal. So you should take data and try them to be more emotional, more involved in a person itself, and they should be more personal. And that is why when you draw, for example, money or time or people or growth, you should not do like structure with the same square and words inside, but for example, you can draw time, the watch, or while talking about people, you can draw like a symbol of people or a symbol of money. And the next very important moment from this book is that you should draw with a person near you. It should be work of two people. Very often if we talk about communication with client, so you should, as a professional person, be prepared. So you should understand the whole situation and the structure, the 80% of your plan, of your picture, of your presentation should be made by yourself. But this 20% of involvement another person would help you to make a compromise. This person would be more involved in this project. And actually, in practice, this part of communication with person helps you to show the person near you that you really think about him, that you want him to explain his ideas, and this really helps to like a catch person, because after meeting he would think that he made this project too and it was his ideas, and there is a research that people like, for example, food that they cooked, but more than if the same level of food was cooked by somebody else. So we are more likely to value our Arbeit, the German, our work, and what that work that we made a contribution to. So that is why it is very important that person should make a contribution to your project. You can use very simple pictures that really show the situation, and that don't really need drawing skills. So you can see the picture to show what was earlier and what is after, using these different figures, or you can show your person the problem and then the solution of this problem. The classical method before after is excellent for sales, visual sales. You can do it even if you have graphics, so you can have a prepared graphic of some data and then draw the picture after by yourself, continuing the graphic. And you should always remember that the essence of improvisation is planning. When you prepared everything, it is much clearer to do something not as you earlier planned. Of course, you need to be relaxed, confident in your knowledge, in your ideas, in yourself. But the main idea is that improvisation is the consequence. Great improvisation is a consequence of great practice and preparation. You should plan before, and then after hard work you would get great results. And everybody would think that it is improvisation, because sometimes when you draw like in a paper in the bill in the restaurant, people really think that it is like an improvisation, and they don't really know that you have already made it 5-10 times earlier.